right, let's talk about one of the biggest lies we're ever told about success. You've probably heard it a million times. If you just work hard and stay consistent, your progress will look like a nice, neat upward line. It sounds so simple, right? But what if that whole idea is the very thing that's setting you up to fail? Yeah, that picture on the left, that's the dream we're sold. But the one on the right, well, that's what it actually feels like, isn't it? You get that first little win, it feels great, you're making progress, and then, boom, you hit a wall, a flat line. And that, my friends, is the plateau. It's where the real work begins. I mean, just let that sink in for a moment. 95%. Almost your entire journey of learning something new is going to be spent feeling like you're completely stuck. So this feeling, it's not a sign you're failing. It is the path. And once you really get that, the entire game changes. So let's dig into this plateau problem. Because, this is the part of the journey that separates the people who make it from everyone else. Why is it so bumpy? Let's break it down. You know that feeling, right? When you're just spinning your wheels. You're showing up, you're putting in the work, but nothing's changing. It's like going to the gym. You lose a couple of pounds, then you gain one back. And then for weeks, the scale just mocks you. That's the plateau. And here's the thing. We're basically programmed to hate this feeling. Everything in our world screams about the quick fix, the life hack, the overnight success story. So of course, when we hit that wall, our first thought is, welp, I failed. But that's not it at all. You haven't failed. You've just arrived. So, how you handle this plateau, it says a lot about you. In fact, there are 3 classic ways people crash and burn right here. And I'm willing to bet you're going to recognize yourself in one of these. So which is it going to be? The dabbler, the obsessive, or the hacker? All right, let's find out which one are you. Okay, first up, the dabbler. Oh, the dabbler. You might know this person. Maybe this person is you, especially if your closet is full of guitars you played once and half-read books. The dabbler is all about that honeymoon phase. The first few weeks of learning something new, they're totally hooked. But the second it gets hard, the second that progress line goes flat, the magic is gone. They start thinking, maybe this isn't my thing after all. And poof, they're on to the next shiny object. The result? They're an expert at starting things, but a master of nothing. All right, next up, we've got the total opposite of the dabbler. Meet the obsessive. This person sees the plateau not as a place to stop, but as a wall to smash through with their face. The obsessive is a results junkie. They hit the plateau and their response is just more. More hours, more effort, more everything. They'll pull all-nighters, skip meals, and look for any shortcut they can find because they refuse to accept that progress isn't happening. But you can't brute force your way to mastery, and it always ends in one way: total epic burnout. And that brings us to our third type, the hacker. So if the dabbler flees the plateau and the obsessive declares war on it, the hacker just kind of shrugs, pulls up a lawn chair, and gets comfortable. The hacker gets to good enough and basically decides, you know what? This is fine. They learn just enough to get by at their job or in their hobby, and then they just coast forever. They're not quitting, no, but they're not growing either. They're stuck, and they usually wonder why they never really get better. It's a quiet kind of giving up, but it's giving up all the same. So what's really fascinating is that no matter which of these 3 you are, there's a deeper force at play, an invisible enemy that's pulling the strings from behind the scenes. And it's not some external thing, it's inside every single one of us. It's called homeostasis. Okay, so what is homeostasis? Think of it like a thermostat for your life. It's your body's, your brain's, your whole system's built-in desire to keep things exactly the same. And here's the crazy part. It doesn't care if the same is good or bad. It just wants what's familiar. It will fight to keep you in a miserable but predictable state over a better but unknown one. This analogy from the book is just perfect. Imagine this chaotic family where the father is an alcoholic. Now, one day he gets sober. You'd think everyone would be thrilled, right? But what often happens is the whole system freaks out. It's so used to the chaos that someone else, a kid, the other parent, will subconsciously start acting out just to bring that familiar chaos back. Your body does the exact same thing when you try to start a new diet or exercise routine. It resists. Okay, wow. So the path is a lie. We all have a built-in failure style, and we've got this invisible force holding us back. Kind of sounds hopeless, right? Well, it's not. Once you know the rules of the game, you can start to win. So here's the playbook. So, how do you beat this internal saboteur? 3 steps. First, you just have to expect the resistance. When you start feeling that urge to quit, or even when your friends are like, come on, just skip the gym once, see it for what it is, a sign that you're actually making progress. Second, you negotiate. You don't have to be perfect. If you're too tired for an hour workout, fine, do 10 minutes. Just don't break the habit. And third, and this is crucial, get some backup. Find a mentor, a friend, a community, anyone who gets what you're trying to do. You can't fight this battle alone. And while you're on this path, you gotta watch out for these common traps. They're like echoes of those failure styles we talked about. Blind consistency, that's just the obsessive in disguise, working hard but not smart. Vanity, or being scared to look like a beginner, total dabbler move. And perfectionism, man, that's the fuel for both the dabbler's urge to quit and the obsessive's race to burnout. You've got to stop focusing on winning and start focusing on the practice itself. And that right there, that's the biggest mindset shift of all, the final piece of the puzzle. We have to go from hating the plateau to actually learning to love it. I know, sounds crazy, but stick with me. Let me throw a number at you. 8,760. Just a big number, right? Well, that's how many hours are in 1 year. Okay, now here's another number. 16. What's that? That is the average number of hours an NFL player, someone at the absolute pinnacle of their craft, spends actually playing in games all year. 16 hours. So you have to ask, right? What in the world is happening in the other 8,744 hours? That's the plateau. That's the boring drills, the film study, the time in the gym. That's the practice. See, we only celebrate the 16 hours of Sunday glory, but mastery isn't built there. It's built in all that other time. The plateau isn't something you endure to get to the good part. The plateau is the good part. It's the whole point. And that's really what it all boils down to. Mastery isn't about getting an award or a promotion. It's about loving the work for its own sake. The book ends with this beautiful story of the author's father, who just found this profound joy in the simple act of doing his work, whether anyone noticed or not. And that's the real goal, to fall in love with the process, to find the joy on the plateau itself, because that's where life is actually lived. So the question to ask yourself isn't, what do I want to achieve? The real question is, what practice am I willing to fall in love with?